Hello everyone and welcome to SUTV Live with a mouth-watering game in prospect tonight and a potentially decisive one in the race for automatic promotion. The Blades are 10 points clear of third place Middlesbrough, and victory here against them would be a giant stride forward in their quest to reach the Premier League. All of the team news coming up, as well as Blades boss Paul Heckingbottom, Sander Berger, Ollie Norwood and Daniel Jebberson. Kickoff is just under an hour away, and for all of the match pass information and broadcasting regulations for tonight's match, go to the website sufc.co.uk. Good evening, welcome along. It's a big one, isn't it? Second against third in the Championship. Let's bring in our two guests tonight who are going to be watching this game intensely alongside us. It's Ellie Wilson, former Blades defender, and Mark Duffy. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad.
I said former Blades defender, current Blades defender. There we are. There's the first one out of the way. This is big tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, second versus third. With that 10-point gap, psychologically, whoever wins that game, I think it's massive.
How significant do you see this game, Ellie?
Yeah, I think it's a huge game. You know, it's Middlesbrough will be wanting to come in and win that and close the gap, but equally I think the Sheffield United players are going to want to chase Burnley and almost secure an automatic promotion spot at minimum.
Yeah. If you're a Sheffield United player now in that dressing room looking at the table, how are you feeling about automatic promotion?
Obviously you're confident, but the table speaks for itself, that they're on merit, but there will be a few nerves in that dressing room for this game tonight because it is such a huge game. Obviously, if they win the game, it sort of cements for me, a promotion place. But obviously, if Middlesbrough win, it just gives them that little bit of hope of catching them. So it is a huge game.
Well, let's have a look at the team news. Let's crack on with that, shall we? One change for Sheffield United tonight. No Billy Sharp, who picked up an injury at the weekend. So Ollie McBurney comes in. And of course, we know what the formation is going to be by now, but we can show you it anyway, regardless. Fodringham in goal, of course. At the back, Ahmed Hodzic, Egan and Robinson. Bogle and Lowe as the wing-backs. Then you've got Norwood at the base of that midfield area. Berger and McAtee in front of him. And then Njai and McBurney at the top of the field. What do you make of the starting lineup?
Yeah, obviously, something that we see regularly and we expect. For me, looking at it, there's just so much experience in that team, so much quality, and then now obviously you're looking at the bench. It's such a strong bench as well.
And Sheffield United coming into this on good form, 5 successive home wins here, unbeaten in 10, best defence in the league as well. The goals are flying in also, so there's lots to feel positive about, isn't there, coming into this?
Yeah, for sure. Like you said there, the defensive record is fantastic as well, and that's why they are where they are, but equally they're doing the business at the other end and putting the goals in. So I think it's a very attacking lineup, and the key thing is to just stick to what they've been doing previously and in previous matches, and rather than worry too much about your opposition, which it can be easy to get fixated upon, just go out and do what you've been doing all season, because it's been working for them. Yeah,
it's funny because people say to me, "Oh, United haven't been the same team since they've come back from the World Cup break," but look at the results, Mark. Can you see any logic in that comment at all?
Not really, no. It's at the end of the day, it's about winning games of football. Obviously, we all want to play well and entertain as well, but at the end of the day, it comes down to winning games of football, and whether you win in style or you scrape a 1-0 win, at this stage of the season, it is just about winning games of football.
And what's impressed me is they've found ways to win no matter what the opponent throws at them. At the weekend, Swansea, a team that like to dominate the ball and suffocate the life out of games sometimes, but still United found a way through. I must say, Swansea started the game pretty well on Saturday for the first 5-10 minutes, but after that, it's pretty much all one way, wasn't it?
Yeah, and especially once that first goal goes in, it kind of settled the game a little bit from a Sheffield United point of view. I think sometimes you go into the game believing you're going to win, but until you get that first goal, there are a little bit of nerves around there. And sometimes it just takes that first one to just settle everybody in. All of a sudden you find that you're playing a bit more freely, you're playing a bit more confidently. But on the whole, as you say, they've found a way to win. And I think that comes with confidence. You know it's coming at some point. You've just got to keep sticking with it. And they've got masses of games in the bank, if you like, of experience just in this season where they've come from behind or scraped results. and that can only go positively going forward.
Do you think psychologically, like, when you play against Sheffield United and you go a goal down, because you know they're so good defensively, it's like, oh my God, it's going to be so hard to break these down now?
Yeah, I think so. I think, when you play a big team and you're almost waiting for that first goal to come, and that's not to say that teams won't come here with the belief that they can cause an upset, and it's a big game for players to show what they're about, but there are points in the season where you're thinking, how long can we hold on for? But that comes with the form that they have, and they've built that reputation themselves, so that's credit to the Sheffield United players.
We're looking forward to it. Kick-off is at 8 o'clock tonight, Sheffield United against Middlesbrough. Let's now hear from Daniel Jebison, who's on the bench tonight. I caught up with him earlier on, and he says he's pleased to be back involved, having served his suspension.
Yeah, it's great. It's felt like a really long time, but I'm ready. I've been training for it, and I'm excited.
Big night tonight, eh?
Yeah, very big night. It's a big 3 points if we could get it tonight. I think we will. Training's been good. Team's been on it in training, so we should perform.
Psychologically, if you get a positive result, whether it be a win or a draw, what do you think that does to Middlesbrough?
It would hurt them, I think, because it's, football's really strange sometimes. 3 points could mean a lot by the end of the season, so yeah, I'm sure they know the target to get those 3 points, because it could mean anything. And for us, it's massive as well. We just need to keep winning, keep getting positive results, and that's closer to promotion.
Still a big challenge, though, isn't it, tonight? They've really picked up since Michael Carrick went in there.
Yeah, they've got confidence. It's not going to be an easy game, as we would expect, and we just need to show them. Yeah.
You're on the bench, so what's your mindset when you are a sub, particularly on a night like this? You've got to be ready when called upon, but how do you feel about getting a taste of this at some stage tonight?
I'm just ready to come on whenever the opportunity is given. I'm just going to get a second win on the side, make sure I'm blowing before I get on, because I know I will be. I need to be ready and just try to affect the game as much as possible. Yeah.
Here, being at home, how much of an advantage? Big crowd on as well.
Yeah, we already know that the crowd will back us throughout the end, so it's very good to know that, and I think we all drive from that as well. But yeah, I'm excited always, so excited.
Unbeaten in 10, you've won the last 5 here. You've got the best defensive record in the division. What's the mood in there like?
Yeah, everyone's pumped. We're getting ready. Gaffer's going to have a talk with us, and then from there we concentrate and show on the pitch. Yeah.
Good luck. Thanks for your time. Thank you. Well, Sheffield United continued their impressive run of form with that win over Swansea on Saturday. It was a controlled and impressive display, so let's have a little look back on how it went.
The match is off and underway. Sheffield United in their red and white striped shirts, the black shorts and the black socks, playing as we look from right to left. And now McAtee, and Berger shoots! And Sander Berger puts Sheffield United into the lead. And actually, a dash of style sweeps the ball into Andy Fisher's bottom left-hand corner. And Sheffield United's first big chance of the game leads to the opening goal. Berger's orchestrating that 3-man wall. Norwood will take it! Oh, and it's off the crossbar! And it's fired in, and Sheffield United do have their 2-0 lead. Superb reactions by Jack Robinson. Ollie Norwood was desperately unlucky not to see the net bulge with a vicious free kick. But as it came back, it dropped to Jack Robinson, who, quick as a flash, was able to hammer the ball in. Up it comes then right-footed. It spirals high into the penalty area. McBurney's header, and it flies at the far post, where it's grabbed by the goalkeeper. Ollie Norwood will be the one to take it. Indeed it is. It's chipped from distance into the penalty area. Oh, and Robinson on the volley. Norwood will take it. Swirling the corner in, and it's a goalmouth scramble. And now Bogle again, sweeping onto the ball. He's able to canter forward and keep possession into the penalty area, beats his man, still got it, low slow control, chance, McBurney! That's it, 3-0, 3 points in the bag, and Ollie McBurney owes Jayden Bogle a big high five for his cutting and weaving and ducking and diving in the penalty area. But when the cutback was made, there was McBurney, who couldn't fail to score, and it's Sheffield United 3, Swansea 0.
Well, after that game, we caught up with Sander Berge, scorer of that sumptuous opening goal.
I favour myself in that position, though. Very nice layoff by Macca. He read the game well there, and obviously I shouted at him, but I trust him to find the right pass in those situations, and yeah, it was nicely laid up for me. And then should have the qualities to find the corners, and luckily I did that today.
6 now for the season. Happy with that tally?
Yeah, I mean, always want more and pushing for the next goal. Obviously, I had an injury spell there, which I lost a lot of games, but I felt in the periods I've played regularly this season and even last season, then I've been able to contribute with goals and assists. So just keep doing that, perform to the role I can, and we're a team where many people can score. We show that the way we play, that everyone comes into the box, and everyone has been involved on that side this year. So we just have to keep going, and it doesn't matter if it's me or anyone else. The most important is that we win, and it was good today.
And that goal set the tone for what was to follow. I mean, how pleased are you guys in the changing room after a commanding performance?
Yeah, very well. I think it was a great game plan, man all over the pitch, to stress them and make sure we could win the ball high and go from there. And we succeeded well in there, and everyone was locked on to that. And obviously, when we get the first and then the second before the half-time, we're good at getting Bramall Lane behind us and keep doing so in the second half. So yeah, it was a very, very good win, but now focus on the next one. But we'll enjoy this now, but then we have to move on.
Those the post-match thoughts then of Sander Berge. Ollie Norwood popped up to the studio as well to talk about free kicks and firstly the win.
I thought we was very good, from the start. Swansea have a unique way of playing that's, they kind of invite the press. We've worked on it all week. Obviously, after the Wrexham game, we had in our mind the way we wanted to approach this game, and it was similar to how we approached it last year. If you remember, we kind of did the same thing to them, so it was fresh in our mind, and we said the majority of that team for them played that day, so it's fresh in their mind what we did to them, and let's go and do it again. And I thought, from start to finish, I thought we were brilliant. Yeah, the manager before the game said that you might have to be patient, so with that in mind, how important was it for Sander to get that early breakthrough? Yeah, it was, and the goal came off a press, and we played the ball in behind, and then Bogues, Macca did a little bit, rolls it off, and it's a great finish from Sander from there, just a side-footed into the net so calmly. It set us off, and then, we get the second one literally just before half-time, and they had a little push. I think they had one shot. Wes made a bit of a camera save, made it look a bit harder than he needed to. Did you mention that to him? No, I think he made it look harder than he needed to, but I thought he was very comfortable in the end, and then third goal wraps it up. Now let's talk about the second goal, because I was saying to the guys off camera here, nearly 2 years we've been doing this show now, and I have still to see you in person score direct from a free kick. So close. I wasn't here for that, Vern. So close today. I guess Robbo reaped the rewards there for it. It's something, Stu McCall was on me, he should score more goals, and I should score more goals. It's something that I'm working on, and we practice free kicks, nearly every day, so I fancied scoring. Unfortunately, it looks like it was in when it left you, but it just didn't quite dip enough. Yeah, I thought it was, but it didn't dip enough, and then Robbo did the rest, and I thought he was brilliant today. He deserved his goal, and he could have actually had a hat-trick. Would you have heard the end of it if he'd converted that volley at the end of the second half? No, again, that was his work on the training ground, the set pieces. The lads, the analysis lads who come up with little routines, and it nearly paid off. It's about delivery and timing, and Robbo again nearly gets on the end of it, and it's unfortunate to hit the post. I think everybody knows the value now of Ollie Norwood to this team. In fact, I saw Kevin Gage, I think it was, who obviously works as part of the show, saying that he felt that Ollie Norwood is one of the best midfield players United have had in many, many years. That is a topic for debate in the boozer, no doubt, but it's clear what he brings to this side, Mark. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we've spoken about Ollie in the past, and earlier on the season, he was getting a little bit of stick, but anyone who's ever asked me about Ollie Norwood, I'm only full of praise for him, because he's one of the most technically gifted players that I've ever played with. He manages that midfield unbelievably well, and he takes risk with his passing, which for me is a massive thing. Anyone who plays in that position, some people look at the stats and you can talk about 98% pass completion, but
how many times do you go forward? How many times do you break the lines? Ollie is constantly breaking the lines, trying to, do those defence splitting passes, raking 50, 60 hard balls, putting it right on the money. He's so important for the way Sheffield United play.
And for his teammates, Ellie, it must be great to have a player like that in the side, someone you can trust, who more often than not is going to take care of the ball, and if you're playing in those key positions out wide, more often than not he's going to find you.
Yeah, definitely. That's, like you say, those key positions, if you're in wide areas, fullback or a winger, when Ollie gets the ball, his first thought is, where can he put it? He's going to play a dangerous pass, a forward pass. His accuracy is just ridiculous. He can spray a ball across the pitch to pinpoint, and that's been a really key thing in how United have played. And he sits nicely just in front of that back four and does that all game. His quality is class, and if you're a wide player, you know to expect the ball. And equally, Ollie knows that players can be on their bike ready to expect the ball from him. So yeah, it's a real benefit to have him in the team, especially with his experience as well.
I just like the makeup of the team. They've got a bit of everything, and we'll come on to Middlesbrough a little bit later on. They're a little bit similar, but they've got the steel of like your Robinsons and Egans and Ahmed Hodzic. You've got the flair with Njai, for example, and the creativity of Norwood, and you've got dangers at the top end of the pitch as well. Everything seems to be right. It's all fitted together very nicely.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously that is the sign of a well-rounded team. You probably go through that list of what you've just talked about and you tick those things off. Have they got the size to deal with it? Set pieces, forward and against. Yeah, they've got that as well. They scored a lot of goals from set pieces, and like you've just talked about, they seem to tick a lot of boxes, and they have that nice blend of experience and youth. So yeah, it's well put together.
I want to ask you about the wrecking ball of I've described in Jack Robinson. I just love the way that this fella plays. He literally goes through a brick wall every single game, and as we saw on the goal as well, nothing was going to get in the way of him scoring. He probably should have had a hat-trick at the weekend, but he's got that fire in his belly, hasn't he? He's the kind of player that fans can really get behind and really give that support.
Yeah, I think nearly every game that I've watched that he's played in, I've commented on it every game. He puts crunching tackles in. He's aggressive in everything he does, whether that's attacking the ball on a head-in set piece, the volley or the shot he had on the weekend, and it's just everything he does is just 100%, and I love that. You need defenders in your back line that are just they're just going to come through people, clear the ball, and like taking pride in that as well. Not just sort of dangling a foot in and being tactical about it. You want players that are happy to put their body on the line, and he's definitely one of them.
And as you will testify, it takes the pressure off guys like you, Mark. If you've got wholehearted players like that in your team, obviously with Jack O'Connell and John Egan when you were playing.
We allow them to do the dirty work, don't we? And then we produce the magic.
I only mentioned Jack O'Connell because he's going to join us later on. Can we have a look at the table? Let's have a look for people who perhaps aren't familiar with it, but why would you not be at this point? This is how it looks. So last night Burnley dropped points. A late equaliser against Watford, so a chance for Sheffield United to close that gap. But look how healthy it looks. Sheffield United played 30, 61 points. Middlesbrough, who they played tonight, 31 games played, 51 points. And then you've got to factor in the goal difference as well. Sheffield United 13 better off than tonight's opponents. That's worth another point, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you're looking at the league. It's a fantastic position to be in, and like I said before, I think if they win tonight, I think psychologically Middlesbrough and all the players will go, right, well, that's them two up, sort of, and they'll be looking to the playoffs. But obviously if Middlesbrough do win, they do probably believe that they can catch them, because there's still quite a few games to go and you never know what can happen. But like you said, obviously the goal difference is superior as well, which is probably another point,
At what point do United become more concerned with trying to overtake Burnley as opposed to trying to widen the gap between themselves and third? Or is that already happening? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just trying to put myself in that position. I think you're always chasing that top spot because I think it's within reach, definitely. But each game that you go into as a player and as a group, you're thinking, how can we take care of our own business? You're not really too worried about the teams around you, and yes, they'll be aware that there's a gap that they can increase between them and Middlesbrough, and they'll be aware there's a gap that they can close between them and Burnley. But if you go in and you take care of your own games, but get 3 points on the board every time, you've seen last night Burnley dropping points, and you just kind of hope that teams around you might do that. But at the end of the day, you can only take care of what you can take care of.
I think the best mindset they can have is chase Burnley down. rather than worry about Middlesbrough. I think they just aim for Burnley and chase them down. And when you've got that mindset, you're going out to just win games constantly, rather than thinking of, oh, who's chasing us.
Yeah. It's more of a positive mentality going into it, isn't it? Like winning mentality. I think you've always got to be chasing that top spot. And let teams below you try and catch you.
Yeah, definitely.
Last 5 games for Sheffield United look like this. Very, very positive in terms of the points return. That draw at Queen's Park Rangers, that feels like a lifetime ago now when John Egan got that last-minute equaliser. A comfortable success here against Stoke. Very impressive win over Hull, I thought, here at Bramall Lane, who are one of the best sides to have come to this place so far this season. A goalless draw at Rotherham, and of course the 3-0 win over Swansea. Out of that 5, which result impressed you the most?
Well, just looking at that, it just shows how strong we are at home. You know, obviously picking up all the points at home is a fantastic trait to have. But obviously the last game against Swansea, you know, I thought they were really good. You know, Swansea can be a difficult team to play against. They keep the ball for large periods of the game, but I thought we just had too much for them. You know, we just dominated them from probably 10 minutes into the game, and then we just overran them and overpowered them.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it was quite a comfortable performance, wasn't it? And what's impressive to see as well, that the games where there's draws on that graphic just there, they're the away fixtures, and it's pleasing to see that even the away games, we've got a really good home record, if you like, but even the away games, you're going away to the teams thinking, look, we want to get a point at bare minimum on the board, and your successful teams are the ones that come away from every game with something. So that's really pleasing to see as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm glad you're here, because we're going to talk about the women's team for the next few minutes now, because Sheffield United got a win over Charlton at the weekend. Sophie Barker's goal securing the victory.
Relegation threatened Sheffield United, nervously looking over their shoulder coming into this one. Got a set piece. It's a really dangerous ball in. There's a header and there's a handball on the line, and that is surely going to be a penalty. Appeals from the home side. The referee and the assistant on the far side say no. Another set piece. This one's headed goalwards by Sophie Hayward, over the bar in the end. Sheffield United doing all the early running in this contest, and Georgia Walters is through on goal with the chance to open the scoring, and she makes no mistake. 2 minutes before half-time, and the Blades have taken the lead. What can Charlton do at the start of this second half? Looking for a route back into the contest. It's headed goalwards, comfortable for Fran Stenson though. Walters over this one, she's gone for goal, it wasn't too far away. The game's stretched now as the away side go in search of the equaliser. Angela Addison, ooh, floating into that top corner, just too high in the end. Charlton prodding and probing, and Johnson finding space. It's taken a deflection. Comfortable for Stenson. The visitors are knocking at the door. Here's Addison. Henson with the chance. Stenson with the save again. Sheffield United could do with a second here to put the result beyond doubt. Sean Rogers comfortably collects that one. Johnson, time running out for Charlton. It's a good, strong, surging, powerful run. She's got time, she pulls it back to Hennessy. Follis was at the far post. Hennessy gets it all wrong.
Well, since that win, Jonathan Morgan has been appointed as the team's new head coach. He's previously worked at Burnley and Leicester and has been talking about the importance of playing the Sheffield United way.
You mentioned the Sheffield United way. You've come up against the Blades a few times. What do you know about the club, about the history, about the football?
Well, I know they've only beat them once, so that's always been interesting. I think I've played them 6 times, 1 draw, 1 win, the rest have been losses. So what I've seen is that it's a very good footballing team. It's a very technical team. It's a team that prides itself on playing football. It has a very, very good attacking ethos, and I think it's something that might have been a little bit lost this season based on the way the results have gone. but it's definitely something that's still there, still bubbling under the sort of surface for the girls. And I just want to now bring that back out again to the forefront and get us back to winning ways like we did on Sunday against Charlton.
So Ellie, you've got a new manager. Was he here watching at the weekend?
He wasn't, no, it was Burnley
Good
game.
job.
Yeah.
Because he'd have seen you coming on in the last minute and getting booked.
Not sure
what happened there?
Tactical.
Tactical.
Win at all costs.
What was the official reason that was given for your
wasting.
yellow card? Time wasting.
Yeah.
Is that true or?
No, I mean the ball was passed between about 2 players and I was the third, but
right.
I was just the receiver of the ball, so I was the one who ended up picking up the card for it.
We'll let you off with
Always
that.
blame someone else.
Yeah, exactly. You're learning. What kind of a guy is he? I know you've had a meeting with him as a group. How's he come across? What's he looking to get from the team? What are your early impressions?
Yeah, seems good to be fair. Like, he's got a good track record in this league. I've not worked with him personally, but he's come in with good energy. Like you say, we had meetings and things last night, and it's almost like a high school briefing. Here's what the rules are. Here's how we're going to play, formations, tactics, all sorts of things. Work rate. He's big on running, so I expect we're going to have a lot of that coming our way.
Lucky you.
Yeah, can't wait. But it's good, to have that sort of change in, not necessarily mentality, but just the way we approach things and have a bit more clarity going forwards, and particularly off the back of a win on the weekend. I think it's really good timing. What's
the style of play going to be like?
Attack. Yeah, the amount of times he said that last night. So running, attacking, forward play, which I think is good to get on the front foot and hopefully score some more goals.
Clean slate for everybody. We often hear that term used when a new manager goes in. Is that what he said? Words to that effect?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair, especially where we're at this point in the season and positionally in the league as well. It's a great time for a clean slate. Everyone to kind of earn their shirt, prove themselves, if you like. I don't really think when you have a new manager coming in, your training seems to.
Yeah, it goes up, doesn't it? Obviously. Yeah. But it's tough. Obviously, you have relationships with previous managers and stuff, but obviously, it's a clean slate for everybody, and you've got to, prove yourself again.
Yeah, it's almost like that. It not counts for nothing, but like you say, you've got to prove yourself to the manager, build that relationship again, and he'll obviously have his own sort of style of play and things that he wants to see from individuals. So it's about matching that, and as a group, hopefully, we can all be on the same page.
And his first game is going to be.
That will be, so we've got international break this week and then Crystal Palace away next week. Testing my memory.
And what kind of a test will that be?
Yeah, a tough one. It's a tough place to go, Crystal Palace. But every game in this league is difficult. It's very competitive, and if we'd come away from that game minimum point on the board, I think we'd be pleased with that.
Right, we hope it all works out for you and the new manager. Thank you very much indeed for now. Right, let's have a look what Sheffield United's men's team have got coming their way. Well, a trip to Millwall this weekend, never an easy place to go. The old cliche, down at the Den, 12:30 kick-off. We are on air from 12. Then Watford here at Bramall Lane on the 25th of February, on air from 2 o'clock for a 3 o'clock kick-off. And then this one, Sheffield United against Tottenham Hotspur here at Bramall Lane, 5 to 8 kick-off for that one. What a night that's going to be. That will be rocking for the FA Cup. Looking forward to that. So lots to get our teeth into there. Ellie, we're going to let you move on to your commentary role for tonight very shortly, but I have to ask you your prediction for tonight. How's it going to go?
I'm going with a Sheffield United win. I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0. Do you want to give us scorers as well? Might as well. Let's get more details.
I'm going to go Njai McBurney.
Njai McBurney. Yeah. We'll get Mark Duffy's prediction a little bit later on as well. I'm not so sure he's as confident as you, but
just gone bold there.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to put his neck on the block a bit more, I think. Anyway, let's have a look at how these two sides got on earlier in the season. It was some game, actually, wasn't it? Up at the Riverside.
And we're underway once again in the Sky Bet Championship. Middlesbrough against the Blades. Here's John Fleck. Good start this from United. Sander Berger is into the area, gets the shot away. It's a fine finish.
That's a goal.
Sander Berger for United. Second goal of the campaign. Quick as a flash, out of his feet, drilled it into the bottom corner, and United have the lead on Teesside. Some grilling off the ball here by Jones, in a great position now. Lovely ball into the area, and Akpom is there with a simple finish. Middlesbrough's first real attack of the game. It's a really well worked goal. And it goes, decent ball in, and it's in. The flag's up for offside. Norrington Davis on the outside of Jones here for United. He got back well and took him out. Is that a penalty? The referee looks. Had a really good view of it, Andre Mariner. Norrington Davis, and it goes from Norwood. It's a deep one. It had to be tipped over. Egan forward. Jin might come here for Ryan Brewster. Brewster round the goalkeeper who just got out a claw to disrupt. Here's Max Lowe. Lowe into the area. Lowe will take it on. It breaks for Fleck. In goes the cross. Brewster! Fine save from Stefan. Tommy Doyle just in the background warming up behind Max Lowe. He's going to take this throw in. Giant, that's a disaster for Middlesbrough. It's an own goal. Hilleman and Jai put it into the 6-yard area. There wasn't really a white shirt anywhere near it. And it's smashed into his own goal, and Sheffield United retake the lead. It's come short, now it goes into the mix. Chance here, and it's headed in. It's that man again. Chuba Akpom found a bit of space in the area, got onto the second ball, and glanced it beyond Wes Fodringham. Full time then here at the Riverside. It's finished Middlesbrough 2, Sheffield United 2.
Well, as we build up to kick-off here, you might have noticed that Ellie looks a little bit different to as you did previously. He looks remarkably like Jack O'Connell. Welcome along, Jack. How are you?
Good to be back with me, mate.
You see two Scousers together. How are you feeling about this one tonight?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, it's a big game. But for us, full of confidence, I think we go out there and get the win.
And what damage do you think Blades can do to Middlesbrough's hopes of trying to nick second spot tonight?
Yeah, I think if we win, I think, obviously we don't like saying it, but I think that's, for me, it's all well and done. I think we probably start looking at Burnley, but we know it's going to be a tough game, but I think we can cause them problems, definitely at home.
Paul Heckingbottom, always calm, very measured. We hear him certainly in the media saying, we're just treating it like any other game. Will he though, privately, behind the scenes?
Yeah, I think Hecky will, yeah, but I think the players know, they realise it's a big game, they've got full of experience, they've been in these games before, so I think the lads will know it's a big game and they need to go out there and perform.
I'm going to get more from Jack in just a few moments' time, but Chris Basham, you might recall, recently made his 500th appearance in Sheffield United colours. Well, I sat down with Basham Bauer himself on the one of our own podcasts recently. We spoke about everything. If you've not heard it yet, go and find it. Here's a little snippet where we spoke about the time Sheffield United got promoted to the Premier League and the celebrations that followed.
That was some session, wasn't it, that followed?
That
wasn't 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. That was like 2 weeks.
Mrs. was asking where I am. Like, that's how bad it was. And she gives us free leeway all the time, bless her. But I don't think we were home for days. There would be lads in the Cop Van, and there'd be an open top bus tour going on. There'd be a session over there, and then you'd be walking in the car park, lads would be drinking there, but there'd be loads of fans there. It was wild. And then we had to prepare for Stoke, so we had like 7 or 8 days on the drink, and then we were going to Stoke where the manager didn't want to get beat. He said before the game, make sure we're on it because it'll lead into next year. If you get beat here, and things will roll on. I think he was very decisive like that in his head. I think he thought things can roll on, and if you get beat 1 or 2, it'll keep going. So momentum was big for him, and we didn't get beat that day. I think Enda got a goal, and Stevens had a good end of the year, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
He was brilliant, and he scored a few massive goals. So with Duff against Forest and stuff. So to have that, and obviously go to Stoke and still celebrating after the game, and all the fans were great. I think I did a train, boys all following us, obviously with the bait and stuff like that. So
we remember.
That was great. And I think it just carried on through, and all the lads were singing, and we got back to Bramall Lane. The bus couldn't even get in the gates at the top. There was just so many fans and flares going off, and then when we finally got off the bus, we were back in the suite there, and everyone was just drinking again. And I think I went home for 2 days before I was off to Vegas with the team.
I'm pretty sure Paul Coots got kicked out the Crucible.
He got kicked out the Crucible. I think he got up and drank the ref's water.
He did,
And then the next day he came down and met us all at the Cop Phone, because I think when the emotions of what we did were so high, it was nice for the lads just to go and sit and have a beer and actually talk about what we've done and how quickly we achieved it, and the belief that we had from that year going in the Premier League. I think it helped, obviously, the gaffer having the core players from League One, Championship, Premier League, and everyone just knew what they were doing and took the Premier League bit by surprise, to be honest.
He's a legend, isn't he? You can find it online or on our YouTube channel. Suggest you go and have a listen to that. What a fantastic servant he's been, and you two have played with him. You know all about him. We're always told that he's the joker of the dressing room. What a fella. Yeah,
he's an unbelievable person. The biggest thing I'd say, he's an even better person than he is a player, which he's a fantastic player, do you know what I mean? So, but he's the life and soul of it, of the dressing room. Has such a good sense of humour, very dry, yeah, and he can drink as well.
As we found out in the podcast. I mean, listening to some of those stories back, I mean, great times. What memories, though? I mean, what a fabulous period for the club that was.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, you don't really realise until you sit back, like Bashy said, and you sit down and you talk about what you've achieved. I think when we played Stoke, I think we were terrible, weren't we? I think we were all.
I got hooked off for half time.
But yeah, fantastic saving for the club. Bashy's probably been the best player for the past 6 years, I'd say.
Yeah, he is a modern day legend.
Yeah,
he'll always be loved here just for the way that he plays. You know, heart on his sleeve, but he's very humble with it as well.
Yeah, and that's Bash. I think that's obviously the upbringing he's had. You know, he never gets too high, never gets too low. Just stays on that level field sort of, and you know what you're going to get from him. You're going to get 110%. He's fully committed, outstanding defender, and you just everything what you would want in a defender, midfielder. You know, he puts his body on the line for the club, puts his body on the line for the team. He'd play injured, he'd play out of position, wouldn't moan. He's just a legend, yeah.
Yeah, and you and him pioneered the overlapping centre-back roles, so you'll always have that as well.
Yeah, good times, good times. Hopefully we can get back to it.
Fingers crossed. Well, he's on the bench tonight, Chris Basham. We may well see him, I'm sure, before the night is through. Let's have a look at the rest of the Sheffield United team and how they line up against Middlesbrough tonight. Just the one change from the weekend. Sharp out, McBurney in. As you can see there, Ismaila Koulibaly figures again on the bench. John Fleck is in there, still no Tommy Doyle yet. And it was interesting, wasn't it, watching those highlights back from the reverse fixture of this one. Players like Rhian Brewster and Reece Norrington-Davies, who you just forget about because they've not been involved for such a long time, but they've had such a big influence on this team earlier on in the season.
Definitely, especially Reece. You know, what I'd say about Reece is he grew in stature.
Yeah, he was flying.
Every game I'd see him, he reminded me a lot more of Jack. You know, he's got that, you know, the size. He's aggressive. He's good on the ball, and he just grew into that position. To be honest, and every time I've seen him, he just really impressed me.
Let's have a look at how Middlesbrough have been performing of late. Very, very impressive, especially since Michael Carrick has gone in there. Their form over the last 5 games, they've won 4 of them. Their only defeat during that sequence was at Sunderland, and then bounced back with 3 successive wins since then. I saw them beat Watford and Blackpool at the Riverside. Very impressive. 2 very different performances. And an impressive win at Cardiff at the weekend as well, where they controlled the game for large spell. So coming here full of confidence.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you know, the Watford one there stands out, and obviously scoring 3 goals in the last 2 games. You know, obviously they're full of confidence, and you know, I haven't seen a lot of them, but you know, with Michael Carrick, he was a ball playing midfielder, and I'm pretty sure that he'd want to dominate the ball and, you know, move it about the pitch with real purpose. But yeah, obviously it's on an impressive run.
I think that suits us. I think the fact that they're coming here with full of confidence, I think that suits us. You've seen it with Burnley. They're not going to come and sit behind the ball. They're going to come and open up, and I think that'll suit us.
Well, I think we can have a look at how both sides compare since the World Cup break. And this is how it looks. You can see that both sides have picked up a lot of points during that period. Middlesbrough have won 8 compared to Sheffield United's 7. Although Middlesbrough have lost a couple of games where Sheffield United haven't. So we're looking at 2 fairly matched sides here tonight. I mean, we're billing it up to be this fantastic game, but how often do we say that and then the team just cancel each other out? Do you feel it will go like that in any way? Jack clearly doesn't, but what about you?
Yeah, I think it could. I think it could go like that. I think obviously there's a lot at stake, and a lot of times in these games, you know, nobody wants to make that, you know, first mistake sort of, so they're a little bit conservative where they're going forward. But like you said, both teams are in fantastic form, and it should be a fantastic game.
Let's have a look at the Middlesbrough side then for this one. Just the one change for Boro from the weekend. Paddy McNair drops out. Dale Fry comes back in. Paddy McNair has been playing for the last few games, but drops to the bench tonight. Fry restored. And again, consistency with team selections, I think, has helped Middlesbrough as well. They'll have Zach Steffen in goal. 4-2-3-1, we expect them to line up with. That's how it's been going anyway. Smith, Fry, Lenihan and Giles at the back. Howson and Hackney, the two sitters. Then it's Force, Akpom and McGree with Cameron Archer at the top of the pitch. And Aaron Ramsey makes the bench for the first time as well, recently recruited from Aston Villa. He has been injured, but clearly fit enough to make the bench tonight as well. So he's recruited pretty well, Michael Carrick also. The turnaround has been quite remarkable for one player in particular, and that is Chuba Akpom, who, start the season looked like he might be flying out the door, but he is flying on the pitch now. He is unbelievable.
Yeah, that's Jacobin.
Honestly. He's changed his position. He's playing in the 10. He's got licence to roam, and he is absolutely thriving. The Championship's top scorer at the moment.
Yeah,
John.
I mean, I played with him for England, and he was a really good player back then, but I seen as the years went by, he went abroad and didn't really hear about him, but this season he's been on fire and he's been playing in the 10, which I've been impressed with as well.
Yeah, he's made a couple of positional tweaks. Marcus Force is a striker, really, but he's playing him on the right of a 3 in behind the main striker. And again, he's a player that's flying at the moment. Everybody we mentioned seems to be in really good form. Lenihan at the back, McGree, for example, Force. Yeah. Hackney, who's one of their own, who's come through the ranks there.
I think that just comes with confidence, though. Obviously, the new manager comes in and he, tweaks a few things. They start picking up points, and then everyone starts believing a little bit more in what they're doing and the system that they're playing. And obviously, Jack, you know what it's like when you start playing with confidence. You just become a better player, and everything that you seem to do just comes off. And I think that's what's happening with Middlesbrough. They're playing well. They've got a system that you're all used to now, and the new management team's installed that belief into them, and that's what you get.
It's early days for him as a full-time manager. He had that spell as caretaker at Manchester United, but clearly that was a good grounding for him. And we spoke about Paul Heckingbottom being calm and measured. He's very much out the same mould, isn't he, Michael Carrick?
Yeah, he's done fantastic since he's come in. I think when you spoke about his recruitment, you look at the team and the bench, it's a proper Championship squad, and yeah, fair play to him. He's done well since he's come in.
Where do you think United can get at them tonight, though?
For me, I think Giles is unbelievable going forward. He's got the most crosses in the league, but I think that leaves a massive space in behind for Bogues to get forward on Sunday.
Yeah, and Jayden Bogle, who I failed to mention earlier on because he played such a starring role at the weekend. I mean, this is no slight on George Baldock at all, but Bogle has been absolutely insane since coming back into the team, hasn't he?
And I think that's what you need, though. You need that competition for places. If anyone who drops the levels a little bit, you've got such a strong bench or a player to come in and replace them, like we talked about with Reece Norrington-Davies. All of a sudden, you sort of forget about them because the next person who comes in is chomping at the bit, they're waiting, and they've got that quality, and that again goes back to the recruitment, what they've done over the last year or two. They've brought in real quality players for when they do pick up injuries, because obviously we spoke about it a lot this year, the injuries that we have had. Players have come in and they've hit the ground running, so it's fantastic for the recruitment.
Is competition for places now in this squad more fierce than it was when you guys were playing regularly, week in, week out, do you think? Because you did seem to have a strong core of players, and they still do to a degree, but when you look on the periphery of that and the quality that is there to complement the 11, how would you compare it, Jack?
I think it's very similar. The one thing I would say is we didn't really have many injuries, did we?
No.
We played the same 11 the whole season, really. We tweaked a few, changed the strikers, but the back five stayed the same throughout the whole season. But I'd say the squad is probably stronger in terms of the strength and depth,
Agree with that?
Yeah, I would, I think the first year when we were in the Championship, I think if we would have had a stronger squad, we would have got promoted that year. I think we got a little bit tired towards that back end of the season, and we just had to keep churning out the same 11, or when players would come in, the quality dipped a little bit. The second part of that second season, we added more strength and depth, like did that come in, and then so when we brought other players in, the quality was there. I think they've gone on another level now, and they've got real strength and depth all over the squad.
Atmosphere building very nicely here at Bramall Lane kickoff, getting closer. We're just under 15 minutes away from Sheffield United against Middlesbrough. Right, more now from Sander Berge, who's been talking about this game tonight. He knows the importance of this one.
Oh, it's a massive game for sure, you know. Will be talks before that, you know, on second place, third, and it's the most interesting time of the year, you know, the last couple of months of the season, and you know, it will be a big one. I mean, those are the games everyone wants to play, and we can't wait to get them here and, you know, just push hard and get a result. But we have respect for them. They've obviously done very well lately since Michael Carrick took over, so we just have to focus on that when it comes to that game.
It certainly probably means a lot in adding to the game that both of you are in good form going into it. There's no kind of layer to it that maybe dropped points recently. You both will be full of confidence for this one. Yeah, for sure.
You know, there will be two teams that have huge amount of respect for each other, but those are the games you want to play, you know, when both teams go at each other and need a result, and you know, can't wait for that, and I think we'll show ourselves from the best side.
You've been in these circumstances before, haven't you? What does it mean then, as you say, going to the last couple of months of the season, every match just seems to have that little bit more edge to it?
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know, the closer you get to the end, the more points you want to have on the board. But again, like as I said, today's game was very important. Another 3 points, and that's all our focus. We don't look too forward, too far ahead. I mean, and that makes us being, you know, shows the resilience and the best of us every week. You know, because if you look too far ahead, you can lose your mindset in those terms. You know, so I think we're just very good on looking the next day, and then we'll count up when it comes to there.
Another goal for Sander Berge at the weekend. What a finish it was. There was that talk of him leaving in January. Thankfully, that's all gone away. Genuinely seems desperate to be here as well. You know, when you listen to a player when they've been linked with a move away and you think, oh, it's just lip service. Yeah. But I genuinely got the feeling he didn't really want to move in January.
At the end of the day, you know, football, you want to get promotions on your CV, and I think he would have looked at it. He's enjoying his football, he's playing week in, week out, he's scoring goals, creating goals, and you know, more than likely he's going to get a promotion. Yeah. So why would you want to go?
He played in a deep role when he first came in, but clearly he revels playing higher up the field, and United are getting the rewards of that.
Yeah, and that's also a credit to Ollie Norwood. Obviously, you know how well he's done. But I spoke to Sander yesterday and I said to him, how do you feel? And he said he feels really good. You know, he come back off a few niggles and it took him time to get up to speed, but he feels like he's really found his form now.
Yeah, and that's been the frustration, hasn't it? We've seen the best of him, and then he's just picked up something, and that's set him back a little bit. Fingers crossed now he stays fully fit between now and the end of the season, because he's going to have a massive role to play.
Yeah, definitely. He's a massively important player. You know, when he's on his game, I don't think there's anybody in the Championship that can handle him. You know, the physicality he has, the pace that he has, the quality he has on the ball. For me, he always just wants you. He wants you. He leaves you wanting a little bit more. Yeah. But he's still only a young player as well. So, you know, you forget how the age he is. So he's only going to get better and better.
I don't think there's anybody quite like him in the Championship. Someone of that stature, that size, who plays that position and has the ability to go past players like he can do.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it either. He's a Rolls Royce. You would think he would play centre half, how big he is, but he's so quick and he just glides past people. But like you said, I spoke to Sander and he fully wanted to stay. He was happy, and you know, you can see that in the performances.
And attitude-wise, it's there, isn't it? Spot on.
Yeah, definitely. And I think to be a Sheffield United player, I think you've got to have that attitude. You know, the players that they've got who have been here for a long time, they won't allow anyone to come in and, you know, be that Billy Big Time and all stuff like that. I think the Sheffield United way is you work hard, you go out there and you put a performance in for the team first and foremost.
Get the impression it's a big game tonight. The light show's on behind us. They're really ramping it up tonight, more than ever, aren't they? I mean, it just all adds to the occasion, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a massive game, and you can see it's a packed out crowd, and you know, me and Duff's are looking forward to it. I'm not a good watcher, but
Well, we'll look after you, don't worry about that. Let's hear from the Sheffield United manager, Paul Heckingbottom, who's been looking at Middlesbrough and their recent run of form.
Yeah, so it means that you're playing, listen, we're playing, all teams are tough, I say it all the time. If you're not on it, everyone's got moments, everyone's got good players. We try and control as much of the game as possible to give ourselves as much chance of winning, and we'll do the same against Middlesbrough. But they're in that moment as well, and they'll feel like they're controlling a lot of the game with and without the ball and doing enough to win games. So it's going to be a good game.
People will sort of earmark, and all the lines come out about 6-pointers and what might happen to Middlesbrough if Sheffield United win, etc. But I suppose in the last sort of 3 or 4 months of the season, each game just seems that bit more important.
They do. Listen, we know what we could probably do to Middlesbrough if we win, but we're not. It's no different approach to us. I think it probably will be, if I was Michael, it probably would be for them. You know, with where we are, with the gap, with the game. It's more about us accumulating the points from the 16 games rather than putting too much focus on one game and then, you know, not dealing with the consequences and thinking we've done it if we win and panicking if we lose. It's not. It's, as I said it before, it's the same process for each of these games, because regardless what happens on Wednesday against Boro, Millwall's a huge game, Watford's a huge game. So yeah, big game. It'll be great here. It's a midweek. It's under the lights. Everyone will talk it up, so it'll be a real good atmosphere. But our approach will be the same.
It is quite a scene out there, isn't it? And remember, for all of the broadcasting regulations, go to the website sufc.co.uk. You'll find all of the match pass information there as well. I would say around about 7 minutes to go until kick-off here at Bramall Lane. How are you feeling this close to kick-off?
Yeah, I'm calm, to be honest. You know, I'm excited for the game. Obviously, it's a big game, like we've spoke about. And yeah, it should be exciting.
Prediction-wise?
I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw, like it was.
Stay strong, hasn't he?
I thought you might have budged and gone maybe 3-2 United.
Well, you three moved at the bus, didn't you? So I had to say.
What's your prediction?
I think 1-1. I definitely. I think.
Love it, Jack.
I felt 1-1 all day. But earlier on, Mark Duffy, when I asked him off air, he said 2-2, but I'm going to go 3-2. But you're going back to 2-2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jack?
2-1 Sheffield United.
2-1 Sheffield United. I feel the energy, the confidence really kind of coming off you tonight. You're feeling really good about this one, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a big game. You've seen with the lights, we haven't seen them since the Premier League, and you know, as a player, these are the games you want to play in, and you know, the lads will be up for it.
Yeah. Who's going to be key tonight, do you think?
I think Bogues and Sander for me. I think getting down the right and making Giles defend, I think that'll be the key.
Yeah, I'm going to say Illiman. I think if we can get him on the ball and get him running at that back line, obviously they're in good form, but I just think he's got too much pace and trickery for them. We just got to get him on the ball as much as possible and get him really running at those defenders. I think he'll scare the life out of them.
McBurney's got a big role to play, hasn't he? You know, up against Dale Fry and Darragh Lenihan. Maybe to pin those and hold the ball up, make it stick, bring others in.
They'd prefer to play against a McBurney than Illiman, though. I think just with the physicality, they want that contact. Whereas with Illiman, he gets it and he twists and he turns and then he shows that blistering pace when he really opens up.
That's the thing with Ollie. People think he's a big target. He's actually really good with this.
He is.
With the 1-2
right.
round the corner, and I think Ollie's going to be massive for defending set plays as well.
Yeah.
Will McBurney be targeting either of those two centre halves? You'll know them pretty well, Dale Fry and Darragh Lenihan. Will he feel he might get better joy out of one in particular?
Well, you would say Fry's a bigger player, but I'm not sure. I think he'll just go on both of them and try and
he sort of likes to pull off, doesn't he, on crosses. Whenever it's getting crossed, if it's the left hand side, he pulls onto the full back sort of. So I think he'll have a lot of joy if he does it to Giles and pulls it into that area. Obviously Smith's quite big, isn't he, for a full back, so if they are trying to isolate the full back, I'd probably say they would try and do it to Giles.
Yeah. What about the crowd tonight? How big a role can these fans play?
Massive, and I think it's down to us to get the fans going, start quick and start on the front foot and give the crowd something to cheer about.
Yeah, playing at home at Bramall Lane, the night games I used to prefer them rather than any other game. And obviously when the crowd gets up, you've got to get them involved and use that energy, and when you do use that energy, you just feel like you're unstoppable.
Is it about how you start games like this? as well, Jack, about imposing your own style on the game early.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely for us as well. Our own, we've got to be on the front foot, be positive, and I think games like this, the big games, it's about who scores first, and we need to make sure it's it.
We used to before, one of the last things the Gaff used to say to us was be aggressive, be on the front foot. You know, lay your mark down against the person that you're playing against, and make sure he knows that he is in a game tonight. And if they handle it and you know they perform well, you know, he used to say, didn't he?
He used to say to us, play like you're 1-0 down from the start.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we used to go out like lunatics.
It's like we can cage animals and let off the leash.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting psychology there from Chris Wilde. I wonder what Paul Heckenbottom's will be tonight. It is a big one here at Bramall Lane. It's got that big game feel to it. Sheffield United in second spot, Middlesbrough in third spot, 10 points between them. Everyone's saying that this is the decisive game, the biggest game of Sheffield United's whole season right here, right now. If they don't lose tonight, many feel that is Sheffield United looking good for the Premier League, and who are we to disagree? I certainly don't. I think tonight is the night where effectively Sheffield United get the job done. We shall see. Middlesbrough trying to reel them in, hoping to hunt them down. It's a biggie. We're looking forward to this. Don't forget, all of the match pass information and broadcast regulations available via the website. Hope you enjoy it. Do stay with us for all of the post-match reaction. Enjoy. It's a big one here at Bramall Lane, the Blades against Middlesbrough.